The worst day of your cruise has come, disembarkation, and you're not quite sure what to do. Let's chat about it. Hi, I'm Michele. I'm a travel agent that specializes in Princess Cruises, and today we're going to talk about the disembarkation process and things you need to know before you get off the ship. One thing you want to make sure you do, especially if you have the Premier package, is download all your photos. Once you get off the ship, you will no longer have access to those digital photos. So if you purchased any or if you have the Premier package, make sure you download all your photos. The day before disembarkation, make sure that you go over your stateroom account to make sure that it all adds up and isn't any unexpected charges or anything like that. Don't wait until too long because of the fact that the guest services will start filling up fast later in the evening. If you're paying your onboard account using cash, you need to make sure you do that in advance as well. Highly recommend, again, trying to do it earlier in the day as much as possible the day before your cruise because, again, guest services will fill up fast. A few days before disembarkation, you will get a letter as well as some luggage tags. And the letter will tell you some important information, but the main thing is that you need to make sure that you have those luggage tags for your luggage. It will have a color as well as a number on it, and you're going to attach those to your luggage and put out your luggage the night before. It kind of sucks to have to do this in some ways because you have to make sure that you have anything important like medication, clothing for the following day, that kind of stuff. Honestly, we tend to make sure that we change into our next day outfit before we go to bed. So that way our laundry is in the suitcase and gone. And then you just have to keep out a few little toiletries, but we try to pack up as much as possible so that we only have a backpack when we're getting off the ship. So many times we see people not put out their luggage the night before, and then they're carrying it around the ship all morning. So they'll be dragging it to the buffet for breakfast. They'll be dragging it, trying to get it off the ship. They're filling up the elevators, and then we can't get off with the wheelchair because the luggage is filling up the entire elevator. So don't be that person. Make sure you put your luggage out. Just have your few essentials. Have a backpack or a small carry-on so that way you can carry off the things that you need to carry off, but don't bring your whole luggage off. You want to make sure you keep the little tag piece at the end of the luggage tag, it like tears off, because that's going to tell you what your group number and color is. The letter you get in your stateroom will tell you what time and where to meet for disembarkation. They'll also have screens the morning of disembarkation that will also give that information. Make sure you know what color you are and what your group number is, because when they start making pages, you want to be able to have that information handy and know where to go. They tend to group you based off of your disembarkation type. So if you're doing an excursion, you might be part of one different color. Princess transfers tend to be like the silver color. Blue tends to be the self-disembarkation color. So you're getting off and doing your own thing, that kind of thing. So you do want to make sure that you know what color you are as well as what number, because they'll depend on how you're getting off the ship and what your next steps are. If you're finding this video helpful, be sure to subscribe for more Princess Cruises tip, tricks, and advice. So in the morning, you won't be able to use that nice little card that you hang out for breakfast. That's not going to be an option for you. Also, the dining room isn't open on disembarkation day. So you will have to make plans for breakfast. Highly recommend skipping the buffet and just going to the International Cafe because the buffet does get busy. If your disembarkation time is a little bit later, I recommend leaving your luggage in your room until that 8 a.m. cutoff time. Go have breakfast at say 7 or 6:30. They do open fairly early, and not worrying about your luggage. Go back to your room, finish up what you need to, grab your luggage, and then leave for your 8 a.m. or whenever your disembarkation time. If you're leaving later, depending on what your loyalty status is, you might have access to the Platinum Elite Lounge or a Suite Lounge, but you want to make sure that you get out of your room by that 8 a.m. cutoff because that gives the room attendants time to change it over for the next people getting on board. You do want to make sure that you're in a public area when it's getting closer to the time of your disembarkation because you won't be able to hear the announcements in your stateroom. And so they'll page over the loudspeaker, we are now disembarking groups blue 12, blue 13, blue 14, and gray 37. And that's where you know it's now time for you to go to the gangway to get off the ship. You do want to make sure that you're getting off with your group just because it helps keep things flowing well. And if you're, for instance, going on a ship excursion afterwards, you might have a different place to meet, like the theater, and you want to make sure that you are there on time and getting off the ship with your group so that way you can do your excursion. It just makes it so much easier than everyone getting off the ship at the same time. Then comes the sad part. You're going to scan your medallion and get off the ship for the last time and be really, really sad about it. You're going to enter into the cruise port and you're going to see a bunch of luggage. Now the luggage is labeled based off of your ship tag, so your color and your number tag. And so you're going to see these signs that will say like blue 1, blue 5, all that kind of stuff. You're going to find your luggage in the row based off of that number and color. And that's why I say it's so important to know what that information is. Something that we sometimes do is we take one of the extra tags and we'll clip it onto our carry-on, like put it on so that way we do know what number. But like I said, if you just pull off that small little tag at the bottom of your luggage tag thing, then it's not so hard either to remember what number and color you are. But that's where you're gonna go find your luggage and grab it. Occasionally you do immigration first, but almost all the cruise ports we've been to, you are gonna do your immigration after you collect your luggage. If you need help with your luggage, there are porters available for tips, and they can help you collect your luggage and bring it through immigration for you instead. The immigration process is going to look different depending on what port you're coming to. If you're in the United States port, so like LA or Fort Lauderdale, anything like that, Port Canaveral, you're going to usually just have a screen that you're just going to walk up to and it's going to scan your face and then say, okay, and then you move on. We've had some troubles with this with my daughter who is little and doesn't necessarily cooperate when it's like, hey, look at the camera. So there are some challenges where you might have to pull out your passport, but honestly, going out through the United States, it's been fairly easy to be able to just get off and be scanned that way. Again, depending on what port you're going into, you might have had to fill out a customs declaration before you have gotten off the ship. And usually that's delivered to your stateroom and you fill it out, give it to your room attendant. If you have anything to declare, you have to do it in immigration and customs. Don't try to avoid that. Don't be illegal. Don't do the illegal things. Make sure you're declaring what you need to declare and do the right thing. Anyway, the immigration process usually is pretty quick and easy, and then you're off the ship and off out of the port. Once you get out of the port building, gonna be completely honest, it's usually really disorganized. I don't know of any port that I've really been to that has been organized. It's usually not that great. But there's often usually taxis available or rideshare things available. Highly recommend pre-arranging for your transportation if you're going to the airport. We usually use the Princess Transfers, which again, should be like better organized, but it never is. So usually there'll be a whole bunch of buses and you can kind of just be like, where's the Princess Transfers? Where's the Princess Transfers? But you usually see a whole whack of buses. And that's where you're usually trying to aim to go to. But otherwise, I would recommend, like, if you want to do like a private transfer, I recommend doing that and having like prepaying, pre-booking everything in advance. So like maybe they're just holding a sign. Taxis fill up fast and quite delayed often. So don't necessarily depend on that. If you're fortunate enough to be driving to the port and you're just parking and then you're going to your car again. We did that in, where was it? New Jersey. My parents came with us and we parked in the New Jersey cruise port. And so that was a little bit easier because we literally just had to go into the parking lot. But depending on how you're getting to the airport or to home, will kind of depend on outside of that. So like I said, it is unfortunately pretty disorganized once you get out there. I don't know of any port that's been organized. If you do, comment down below because we have not had much luck. So now you're off the ship and you are ready to start your new adventure. So be sure to go check out this video right here because YouTube thinks it's a great choice for you.